Hello everyone, I am Dr. Hanuman Amarappa. Today I am going to talk on the topic death, that is thanatology. When I say the word death, what comes to our mind is screamings, moanings, cryings, shock, difficult to accept that somebody is died. More than any definition, more than anything, the death is a truth. One has to learn to accept it. So what is being said in the different definitions of death? Complete and irreversible stoppage of respiration, circulation and brain functions is defined as a standard definition of death in physician's death. Section 2B of the Registration of the Births and Deaths Act defines death as permanent disappearances of all evidences of life at any time after live birth has taken place. Section IPC 46 says the word death denotes death of a human being unless the contrary appears from the context. Transplantation of the Human Organs Act 1994 says stoppage of functions of the brainstem death is considered death. Look at this slide. Whether death is an event or a process, death is not a moment or event. It is a continuous process. It is a process rather than an event, except in situation where death occurs simultaneously like bomb blast, crushing of head in road traffic accidents. That means all of us die by piece. In the line of death process, up to what point he can be brought back to normalcy or life again? Our scientists till today have able to establish this fact and suggest euthanasia if the life-sustaining measures are not required or futile. Where is the point of no return to the life? We have 50 trillion cells. After death of how many number of cells we can pronounce that the person has died? 10%, 20%, 30%, 90%. Still, it is debatable and questionable. Two phases of the death. One is somatic death, another one is molecular death. Functions of the brain, heart, lung considered as the bishop's tripod of life. The stoppage of this tripod leads to the death. So that is termed as somatic death. It is also called as clinical death or legal death. The molecular death is death of the all individual cells of the body. So there exists a space between the molecular and somatic death. That physiological space is best utilized for organ transplantation. Here I want to make the concept of the mode of death clear. So whatever may be the cause of death, ultimately the person dies due to failure of any of these systems, that is coma or syncope or asphyxia. These are popularly known as gateways of death. Brain dead or brain death. Brain is the responsible for all the coordination between the organs. Once brainstem death is established, no matter how healthy an individual, life will not return to the patient. Even with the continuous cardiopulmonary support, complete loss of consciousness, absence of brainstem function is brain dead, and the person is dead totally. How to diagnose the death precisely? Deep irreversible coma, fixed dilated pupil, absent cranial reflexes, no spontaneous respiration, absence of electrical brain activity, that is a flat EEG, cessation of circulation in the retinal vessels. This has to be examined through the fundoscope. Then you can pronounce precisely that the person is died. So I was talking about the physiological space between the molecular and somatic death. This window period where the different organs of the human body they survive for different extent after the cutoff of oxygen supply. This window period is utilized for organ retrieval and transplantation. So like this heart survives for 60 minutes, liver 15 minutes, kidney 45 minutes, blood 6 hours, bone marrow 6 hours, cornea 6 hours. So like that. At present, death is an important component in three different laws of India. The Registration of Birth and Death Act 1969, Section 46 of Indian Penal Code, Transplantation of the Human Organs Act 1994. Only thing that is what is required is unification of the brain death declaration, and if it is delinked with the organ donation, that has to be incorporated into the existing laws. Why are the doctors and hospitals in India scared of declaring brain death? Because the process of certification is cumbersome. It requires four doctors to certify twice at 6 hours apart. Moreover, brain death is linked to organ donation. So if there is no talk of organ donation, they will not certify brain death. Some doctors have never conducted this test, so they lack the skills. There are also several hospitals and doctors who do not want to be associated with the concept of cadaver organ donation because the stigma associated with it. So kidney donation today in our society is used in a derogatory fashion due to scandals. So what are the solutions to improve the declaration of brain death in ICU? Firstly, promote organ donation concept among our doctors and medical students. Train them on how to conduct brain death tests. De-link brain death from organ donation and pronounce. Make a practice. Make a routine practice in the ICUs about the brain death pronunciations. Demonstrate skill competency to pronounce death in UC university exams. The death certificate should also have the option wherein brain death is accepted form of the death, making the process of the death declaration simple and uniform declaration of the death are the need of the hour. The United States already has a legislation on similar lines. We have been pushing for new legislation or an amendment in the existing acts to allow doctors brain death, just like they would declare cardiopulmonary death and dealing it with the organ donation. So let us wait and see. Hopefully, the good things may crop up in future. Thank you all. These are my references.